Ready. Play.
The Alexander Zverev against Fabian Marozsan. Alexander Zverev in Munich, I mean, he won 2 titles in 2017 and 18, but actually it has not been that easy for him since. I think this edition is the first one since 2018, and he's actually played the event every single time. This is the first one where he wins at least 2 matches. Of course, he's already got 3. And today he pulled off a pretty clutch win against Talon Griekspoor, even if for a while nothing was really suggesting that.
It was definitely very clutch in the third set when he saved those 4 break points and he came up with this like 4 big serves and Griekspoor couldn't even get a return back in the court. So that was probably his most clutch moment. And then I think he played a good tiebreak as well. So, but Griekspoor obviously serving for the match and up 5-4. That was his big moment, and he sort of botched it a little bit like he did at Roland Garros as well. But it's kind of similar. They're all of their matches where like Griekspoor is the one like kind of making all the plays, doing all the serving and volleying, coming in, just playing really big aggressive tennis, and then it's up to Zverev to sort of withstand that barrage. He can make up for some of it with the serve quality, and then his consistency from the back of the court is obviously greater. He has better shot tolerance. All of that comes into play, and then the more physical the match gets, you do still, even though I know Indian Wells went Griekspoor's away, but you do mentally you would probably back Zverev a little bit more. And honestly, he really needed this win after the last couple of months, the way it's gone for him. With like this is the first time he's actually won 3 matches in a row. So we'll see if this is like just a big kind of weight off of his shoulder, and maybe now the fact that he's number 3 instead of number 2, and because he basically admitted that the ranking was a big thing on his mind, basically for his lack of performing in the clutch moments the last 6 events before this. So I mean, he's definitely the favorite for the title, but I don't think it's a runaway. Like I definitely think the next 2 opponents can definitely push him and challenge him.
Yeah, Miami 2024 was their last and only match. So basically, just like Shelton and Cerundolo, they met only once during the Sunshine Double of 24. Marozsan, as we know, he has the game to upset people. I mean, obviously, Alcaraz is the prime example, the Rome match, but also like the Minor, Shanghai, Rublev this year in Hong Kong. There was a Rune win in Miami last year, which was a beatdown too. So yeah, obviously someone who's gonna like throw with a kitchen sink at you, has a great drop shot as well. Maybe that's a thing. Like today against Griekspoor, the key moments, Zverev basically like has his back against the fence, and he is still able to survive like this. Talon is probably going to miss a forehand somewhere, especially when the nerves are going to be freezing him up. Could Marozsan play a ridiculous match and beat him? Probably, but just like in all the other ATP semifinals, there seems to be a pretty clear favorite. I guess we haven't really talked about any like flip of a match, but yeah, this we also can't really do it here. It's still going to be a bigger chance that Zverev loses to Cerundolo or Shelton for sure than Marozsan. But at least anytime we have this like match between Fabi and the massive, top player, at least there's that thought that okay, yeah, if he has a ridiculous day at the office, it's possible. He's never going to be like one of these players who goes 20 losses in a row against the top 10 or something like that. That's just not how his game functions. And yeah, for Marozsan, I guess it's pretty big already, making a first ATP Tour semifinal. Just before we started the show, we were talking backstage that it kind of seemed like he had one already because of all the good wins he's amassed, and also the 2 ATP 1000 quarters he had. But no, this is actually his first ATP Tour semifinal as a whole. Not going to be easy to progress from here. I mean, Zverev and then Cerundolo or Shelton, even in a clay court event, even I'm talking about Ben, that's not going to be something that's just going to come easy for him. Maybe it's not going to be here, but obviously that's a player who, if he peaks for a week, is fully capable of winning a 250 somewhere.
Yeah. The conditions wise, do you think Cerundolo, Shelton, Zverev, the conditions help the most? Like it's super cold and like damp, slow, but also it's on altitude, so it's a different type of clay European event.
Yeah, it's tough to say. It's tough for me to like get a good grasp of what the conditions are like, because obviously last year it was super slow. It was like 3 Celsius or whatever, and it was snowing. This year though, I feel like it's very different. There's actually been
Feels
matches
quicker
where it
though.
looks quick,
Yeah,
and
feels
I
quicker
think
than last year.
yeah, I think some of the last editions they were looking pretty fast too. Obviously altitude, it's nothing crazy. It's like 300 or 400, but I do think it's felt.
Mm.
And some players who like, I don't know, like Max Hans Reberg, who used to get all the wildcards, I think this year only to qualies and the doubles event, but he pulled off some wins at this event that you would not expect. And like, yeah, it used to happen. Basically, I think this edition is also like a little dependent on the day. But I've definitely seen matches where it looked quick. When it was sunny at Shelton Goyo, for example, then again, you have matches like Zverev Grigspor where they definitely aren't making the conditions look quick. So that's why I think it's pretty tough for me to say. If it is sunny and warm, maybe Ben would like that a bit more. But
Yeah.
if it gets a bit more colder, damper, yeah, then Zverev probably is the one to gain the most out of that. Just kind of buckle down behind the baseline. Maybe Marozsan punishes that with the drop shots. It's something he has in his arsenal. But yeah, for now it's pretty tough to say who the conditions will favor, depending on really the weather of the day, I think too.
Yeah. The weather is a big thing because I remember last year the conditions were very cold and slow, and then the final though was a little bit different. It was like sunny, warm, and like Struff was like coming in, serving and volleying, and he was having a lot of success. So wonder if that'll be the case with Ben. It would certainly help him because he's basically playing this. He reminds me sometimes of a '90s player, Ben Shelton, the way he approaches these matches. But it
I
makes
think he
for a nice
thinks of
contrast.
himself as a 90s player, right? Like that's
Yeah.
kind of seems to be his strategy of like, I'm gonna play it like in the old days, and he
Yeah.
doesn't think he has any other idea, where I think he might, but
Mm. Yeah. And sometimes, he's definitely, we talk about Alcaraz trying to go for the highlight reel shot. I think like Ben is like maybe a much more extreme example. Like he's constantly always looking for that entertainment.
yeah, and the
Probably more
interaction
so.
with the crowds even more so than Carlos. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.